Hey everyone, how's it going? I am Dr. Dom. I'm Doctor of Physical Therapy, and I'm trying to build you and help you build some lifestyle behaviors that can change the behaviors, change your long-term health. And right now we're going to go over what I call a body conscious flow or a mobility flow. It's going to help stretch out the hips and the legs and bring a little more consciousness to where you might be tight. What we're going to do here is a lunge and a rock back for the hip and the hamstring, what I call a Spider-Man stretch. Then we're going to move into a pigeon pose or something to stretch our external rotator, the back of the butt. We're going to roll over on our back after that and do a little nerve glide of the lower leg. And then we're going to round it out with, which one did I round it out with? Oh, just a little figure four stretch to stretch some of those internal rotators of the hips. So why don't we get started? This one actually is going to take 10 minutes since we're going to do it on both sides. So I'm going to move this chair out of the way. All right, here we go. Start yourself in a lunge. I have my left leg forward. I'm going to lunge forward to feel that hip stretch right here. And then I'm going to rock back and lean forward into the hamstring. Lunge forward. Get that stretch in the hip, and then rock back. You can rock back as far as you want. I tell people you should keep your core tight, and you should hinge forward at the hips. If you want to reach to the toe, you can, but really, just lunging forward, or hinging forward, you should feel a good stretch in that hamstring. Rock back. Lunge. We got 10 seconds left. And now we're going to move into what I call the Spider-Man stretch. Because we're going to go right from here, hands to the ground, kicking that leg back, and just sink your body down to the ground. So you can feel a stretch in this back hip and a little bit of stretch in this front leg. If you need more of a stretch in the front leg, you can keep on inching it forward until you feel a good stretch in that hamstring. If this is too tough, just lower down to a knee. If you need more of a challenge, try getting your elbows down to the ground, which is a bit too much for me. And in reality, if you want to get a good stretch in which you're going to get the muscles to release and lengthen, you're going to change that nervous system input, you need to hold it for about 2 minutes. In reality, we're just bringing good blood flow to all these muscles. From here, you're just going to cross that front leg over and underneath and try to sit on back into a pigeon pose. You can keep your chest up like this. You're going to try to sink this hip down to the ground, while you also sink your left hip down to the ground. You can turn this way to make it a little easier to see. Sink that left hip down to the ground. Some people like to rest their forearms on the ground. And we'll just sit here and breathe nice and deep. If you want some variation, you can press your chest up to extend the back and come down to your elbows. From here, we're going to roll right onto our backs. Stick with our left leg. We're going to kick that knee straight and pump the ankle towards us and away from us. Toward and away, toward and away. I like to tell people as you do this, this is the nerve floss. Our nervous system's like a spider web. And when we pull our toes towards us, it's like we're tugging on the ends of the spider web, and that's why we can feel that up through our calf. I tell people to try and point your toe down and in when you do it, and you might feel something down this end, or point your toe in and up, or out and up And that helps us feel the different nerves that we can help to mobilize using a different technique like this. After this, so we did that for about 60 seconds. I want people to cross your leg over and just press that knee down. So we're putting pressure down into this knee. And now we're going to stretch some of the internal rotators of the hip. If you need a little bit more of a stretch or want to intensify it, you can just lay both legs down like this. But you want to make sure that hip doesn't come up on the opposite side. So this is about where I can sit. And I get a good stretch through this leg, but just for basics, right here, pushing that knee down. We got 15 seconds left, and then we're switching over to the other side. Five seconds. All right, get in your lunge here. You're gonna lunge forward. One important thing, don't extend that back. Keep a solid core. Lunge to feel the stretch in the hip, and then sit back, and then sit back, and then lunge forward, and sit back, and lunge, and back. Just helping ourselves understand where we have tightnesses, where we can grow within our own mobility. And I have lots of places personally that I've been working on. Forward and back. And then we're going to go into that Spider-Man pose. So we're leaving this leg up front, extending that back leg, and just sitting here. And you can sink those arms down to the ground to get more of a stretch in this front leg. Or you can open yourself up and then come back down for a little more of a core coordination challenge. You can inch that front leg out a little further if you want to get more of a hamstring stretch in that front leg. We got 15 seconds left here. Okay, now we're going to go straight into the pigeon pose. So wrap that front leg under and sit on back into that back hip. Come down, back up. If you're not feeling as much of a stretch, you want to maybe make your leg point straight out this way. And that should really intensify that stretch in the back of the hip. As you can see, I can hardly get my hip towards the ground now versus when I have my knee a little bit more bent. So this is one of the places I can improve my mobility. We got 10 seconds left, and then we're going to roll right onto the back and do the nerve glides on the other side. So here we go. You can really have your knee bent up or straight. Won't make a huge difference, but it does change the tension in the overall nervous system. So work that foot in, pointing the foot down or up towards the ceiling and in, pointing the toes towards you while you tilt the foot inward, pointing the toes outward while you're pointing it towards you. All different ways to help mobilize and give attention to that nervous system, which we do not pay attention to as much as we need to. And then the last one is the figure 4. I just call it the figure 4 because my legs kind of look like a 4 when I do it. And really pushing that knee down. And this is where I realized, hey, I feel this a little more on my right than I did on my left. Could mean nothing. It could help me point out a different, tension, an area that needs a little more attention in my body. And this is our last one. And the most important thing, which I haven't mentioned this whole video, is that we're breathing. Nice deep inhales, nice long exhales to help us relax into those stretches, relax into that tension. The more you push into tension, the more you might create more tension. And there we go. So that is a quick little mobility workout, 10 minutes to loosen up the hips, help you realize where you might have additional tension in the system, and hopefully help you create a nice new behavior to increase your long-term health and decrease your healthcare costs on your way to the wellness destination. I'm Dr. Dom, Doctor of Physical Therapy, and hopefully I see you in another video soon.